What the fuck is up, everyone out there in Dolphins land? First time I'm doing a little pregame show on the Dolphins versus Ravens matchup that's coming up on the day after tomorrow. Um, Mainly because I'm using this new software and a new mic, which it's very cheap, so it's still gonna sound like shit, but maybe better than the headphones and the car situation. And nobody's home but me and the baby, and he's finally stopped crying. So anyway, what I wanted to get into is the bit of a civil war going on in Dolphins land, mainly on Twitter, where you got a really split fan base here. I haven't seen anyone more polarizing in my life than Tua Tagovailoa. Uh, it seems like some people love him to no end, and he could do no wrong. For example, the Big O show, he went on and said he would take Tubert, Tua over Herbert if offered right now. I don't know if that's a reasonable statement, but he does believe that. And he basically said Herbert's a bum. I can't get down with that. And I personally, during draft time, wanted Tua over Herbert. So I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit and act like I was right the whole time. And truthfully, I don't know. There's still time for Tua to close that gap. But another example of someone on the opposite side of the spectrum is someone like TD Finstock, who will go on live and critique every little thing Tua does down to his interviews. And ultimately, what it comes down to is we could sit here and go back and forth on Twitter. It doesn't matter. Mike McDaniel is going to be the one who's going to make that decision when it's time. And the reality of it is that everything Tua does, every throw he makes, is going to be micro-analyzed more than any other quarterback in the league. And that's because of how polarizing he is. So, if on the opening play of Dolphins-Ravens, they do play action, deep ball to Tyreek Hill for a touchdown, uh, people on the Tua side are going to lose their minds, and we'll be seeing it all week. On the other end, if Tua throws a shitty pass like he did the first pass, and I wouldn't even call it a shitty pass. He had that tip pass versus New England that everyone was posting, and it's incomplete. We'll hear about that to no end. That is the reality of it. I think the right thing to think, and I'm not telling anyone how to think, but in my opinion, it's got to be somewhere in the middle. The verdict is still out on Tua. I thought he looked decent week one, but one offensive touchdown, it doesn't do it for me. I know near the end they could have had another and they left some plays on the field. I need those plays on the field to be minimized and more touchdowns. I would like to see the offense get in the end zone 3 or 4 times this week, minimum, for me to go, okay, there's improvement. Tua doesn't have to throw for 500 yards, but he does have to put up a decent performance. And the reality of it is Lamar Jackson's not going to sit there and get crunched by a cover zero blitz every time this week. My prediction is that Miami should win this football game. I know it would be an upset, but if really they did get as better as advertised, the Ravens lost Hollywood Brown. Lamar is playing for his contract. I expect him to have a great season. And if Tua doesn't pan out, I hope he comes to fucking Miami. I don't give a fuck who the quarterback is. If Miami wins a Super Bowl, I'll be happier than a pig in shit. That's all I want to see is the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck if Tua's the quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater's the quarterback. I wouldn't have gave a fuck if Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. There's no morals involved. I am just a fan and a bystander. I have no say in what the team ultimately does. I just want to see them succeed. I don't care who the players are. I just want to see them succeed. And ultimately, what I want to see the team do is win a Super Bowl eventually. That is what I want. And for me, I hope it is Tua because I was clamming for him for years before that draft. But if it's not, I don't give a shit. Whoever it takes to get the job done. But anyway, I figured I'd just come on here and talk my shit real quick and just say, as a fan base, we should stop being so extreme. And instead of being all the way, it's like a political party, like Democrats and Republicans. You know, people are all the way right or all the way left. They're fucking crazy. All right? Chill the fuck out. Let's not microanalyze every little thing, even though it's going to happen. Let's enjoy the games. When the Dolphins win, we should celebrate. And when they lose, well, we should be pissed off and talk our shit and expect more from the team. And that's the fun of football. It comes down to wins and losses. That's all I give a fuck about. I think all this hyper-analyzing, it's a waste of your breath and a waste of your stress, because ultimately it's up to Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel what happens with this football team. And that's that. That is that. So I don't want to float out a prediction for the weekend because I don't know. It could really go either way. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I think they need it because the Bengals and Bills game coming up. Honestly, I'm more nervous about next week. I don't want to see them lose by 50 to Buffalo again. But I'll talk about that when the time comes because we still got Sunday coming up. Anyway, the baby's fucking crying, so I got to take care of that shit. Go Dolphins and chill the fuck out.